Sure.
Well, oh,
Here you are, my
are
dear.
we recording?
We are recording.
What? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, fun.
Yes. So welcome back to my lovely, lovely channel. I've got my beautiful, beautiful cousin, Flo. I call her Flo. Her name's Amanda Flores, but I call her Flo just because I think that's cute.
Yeah, I love it.
I do too.
And it's perfect for what we're even going to be talking about today.
And you know, you are kind of like that. You're kind of like you just go with the flow. All right, maybe
I like to fancy myself that way.
Yeah, maybe a little bit.
Fancy myself that way.
You know, you do a lot of cleaning, and
Right.
so are you getting into the feng shui kind of part of it, where you're like getting rid of bad energy in the home?
I've kind of always done that naturally.
Yeah.
When I clean, but I'm learning more about what that really means.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I've been reading some books, and they always say everything starts with self. So I'm having, it's so much easier for me to do that for others.
Yeah.
I can walk
Believe
into
me, I know.
other people's homes and be like, oh, that does, and when you clean and you move through everything,
Yeah.
you kind of feel a flow,
Yeah.
right? And it's like, oh, that blocks my flow, or I can't move fluently through this
Yeah.
space, and how, you know, I can see how that can move around in other people's homes, but in mine, probably because there's more attachment to
Yeah,
things.
maybe that's it. Because in
And-
my own house, there's clutter that happens all the time,
Right.
and then it drives me nuts. But like other people's houses, I'm like, oh, if I just put that here, and I put,
Or this would look great right there. Or you wouldn't bump into that all the time if you just angled it just a
Yeah.
little over there. So I'm having to learn that in my own space, and I mean, I like my space, but I have like a plethora of eye candy, and
eye candy. I like that.
and
I like
so
it.
it's like, how much of that is serving my flow anymore?
Yeah.
You know, so
Well, Flo's always serving other people.
yeah, Flo's a server. Yeah, she's learning how to serve herself.
Yeah.
It's a big deal.
So we are talking in this episode about breath and being able to breathe. And while we do that, we just blessed our wonderful, wonderful little greenery here. We're going to take a couple of puffs, take a couple of breaths.
Yeah. Some breaths in,
and get
some
right
breaths
into it.
out. I did look up some quotes that I wanted to share, and I
Yeah.
thought would be really good with this. So one fun one that I think will represent just kind of the starting of lighting this is, breathing is the greatest pleasure in life. And I picked that one, because it's a little special name, and his name is Giovanni Papini.
Oh.
So, you know, little
I got a
little at
Giovanni
home.
at home.
Yeah. So I thought, you know, that would be a good introduction to be like, you know, we are so blessed to have this breath that we don't even have to ask for
Yeah.
or
Right.
expect. It's just a part of who we
Yeah.
are. It's our nature. So in that, we're going to take in nature
Yes.
right now.
Connect with nature.
Yes.
Okay. All right, let's do this. I'll see you in a minute. Thank you.
Nice breath in,
Yes.
nice breath out. Breathe in the healing.
Yeah.
Let go of what does not serve you.
Yes.
And so it shall be.
And so it is.
And so it is.
So I also wanted, would you like some more of this? Because I think I'm probably pretty much
I'm
done.
gonna
Okay,
just-
if you want any more, then it'll be right.
Grazie.
So this is what I wanted to talk about. I wanted to talk about, so breath and then cannabis, okay? And we can go into lots more stuff because there's a ton that we could talk about breath, with
Right.
breath. With the cannabis piece, wow.
Someone was really
Somebody's
excited
like,
about
"Hey."
that. They're
Somebody
"You-
was excited
you
about
Tell
that.
us about that, girl.
With the cannabis piece, I wanted to make sure that it's very well known that cannabis can be spiritual,
Right.
because I think that we have this kind of thing, this persona, I guess. Is that the right word? This issue in our heads.
Idea,
There you
perception.
go. Perception. Thank you. Not
Or
persona,
even
perception is what I'm
yeah,
thinking.
or even dogma. You
Yeah.
know, like what people put
All this
onto you about what this
indoctrination
creates.
about
Right.
what the about like a bunch of stoners, and we're just like giggling around. I mean, of course we're giggling, but
Yeah.
that's like raising vibration, right?
Totally.
There's nothing wrong with giggling.
No.
Like, I think that's the great part about it. that
Well,
we
I
can-
heard this other really great quote
Yeah.
right before I came here, actually, and I wrote it down. And it was by this lady named Marcy Chimoff. And you can totally look her up. She's amazing. Marcy Chimoff. And she said, laughing helps us open up for new information.
That's perfect. That is perfect.
Yeah.
I love that. Because instead of being all stuffy and like do you remember like when we were in school and then we were learning new things and you had like a boring teacher? Seriously. You weren't paying attention
Lack
to
of
shit.
stimulation.
Yeah. Like you weren't paying attention to shit. You were just like, all right, this sucks. I have to know this. And then you were off in la la land because seriously, when we're young, our imagination, and I think cannabis to me helps the imagination. You know,
Yes.
it really connects with that childlike energy.
Yeah.
for
Well,
me.
the connection and cannabis is you got to breathe it in and you got to let it out.
Yeah, right.
So when the bigger you breathe, you know, the more you expand,
Yeah.
the more expansion happens to the mind. And you just open space to like let things flood in.
Let things flow.
You know, let things flow.
God,
Flow in.
see why I love that for you? It just works for me. I love it.
Me too. I appreciate it. It brings
Yeah.
me joy.
Good. I'm
Yeah,
glad.
it's
I'm glad.
fun.
So the breath. So let's talk more about that.
Mm-hmm.
And the connection. What were we talking about last? What was it? A few days ago.
Right.
A few days ago. This is why we were so excited to do this video. And a few days
It was
ago,
inspiring, indeed. Yeah.
So we were talking about how the breath has been suppressed almost. Like, you know, in starting with really last year, like,
Right.
and being afraid of other people
The
breathing.
the quote of "I can't breathe"
Yes, I
was
can't breathe.
such a vibrational impact for people.
Absolutely.
And yeah, you're right. It's like the fear to breathe
Yes.
on others, you know, if someone's coughing,
Yeah,
you know,
and it's
all
not
that.
just about like, oh, you'll hurt yourself. It's about, well, you'll hurt me. I'll hurt her. I'll hurt, you know, and that is like, kind of plays on the fear part. And when you're in fear, you shallow breathe.
Shallow breathe. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Man, see, I have a great quote for that one too. Breathe in deeply to bring your mind home to your body. Oh, no, wait, that's not it.
I mean,
I
that
should have
works.
highlighted these, but
That's okay.
and understanding. Man, these are good. Like, and it's fun that maybe it was just me writing them down and it just brought flow
Yeah, right.
into this
See?
breath
This is
conversation
so
because it's all
perfect.
about breath.
Yeah,
you know.
it totally is. And the whole suppressing the breath and being in fear and the media pushing fear, and you know, and what was in the media, just like you said, with the the
I can't breathe. Yeah.
And then it was like right during, kind of like more towards the beginning of that, right? It was then, cover your
Yes.
cover
Yeah.
your breath.
It shifted. It
Right.
shifted into another way of restricting your breathing.
Yes.
You know, it was like we're gonna put this comes out and it's just hits you really hard. You know, I mean,
Yeah.
it is emotional. It's
Yeah.
like when you see what you see, but you don't know everything that's going on, and
Right.
someone loses their life because of it, and it just causes
Yeah.
this big like vibrational uproar, and
Yeah.
people do like clench in their breathing. It's
Yeah.
like I can't
And then you get sick.
breathing hard or
Like, it just
not
ma-
breathing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it makes sense that it stops you from it's like suppresses your immune system, right? And then like just going outside, and for a while there we weren't even allowed to we could go outside, but it was like, what for? You know what I mean? We can't like go anywhere, do anything, and
Right.
it was even at like national parks you couldn't go.
Yeah, that's super silly.
And,
like
yeah.
that was kind of silly.
Totally. But I mean, people are still kind of doing these things. And so putting you in fear and, oh my goodness, you're going to get other people sick and you can't. So connecting the breath to the creator or to source energy or to God, and your connection to the earth was all kind of, and the attack on your
Like,
immune system and the attack on your
Yeah, like it
personal-
shrunk your lungs down.
Yeah.
Just like
Yeah.
physically, actually, when you shallow breathe,
It creates more
it-
of the
it
shallow
creates-
breathing.
Yeah, it shortens your lung capacity.
Yeah.
So when you really deep breathe and you come down through the solar plexus, and just really,
I feel like I have to do that right
to the
now.
back with your, you got to feel them come out, expand from here,
Yeah.
from the back.
And chakras.
And
'Cause doesn't that like spin your chakras as you breathe in and you help clear
yeah, there's
your
a
chakras?
great lady by the name of, let me see what I wrote down here. Sue Mortar, and she's got a really cool technique that's hers, that she's certified completely, and it's
Right.
called central channeled breathing.
Ooh.
So it's exactly like how you
Sue Mortar.
described. Sue Mortar.
I'm gonna have to check that out for
Central channeled breathing. And it is about coming from your top and coming down to your bottom and coming back, like it creates that flow. It opens up those chakras.
The Taurus field. It's like a
Taurus
Taurus field. Yeah.
Exactly. Who else talks about that? Joe
Santos
Spinacci?
Bonacci. I love Santos Bonacci. He's
so
like
great.
one of my favorites.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, and he talks about the Taurus field all the time, and that really is your center
Yeah.
and all the chakras, and then coming up through the head and down through the earth, and then back up through your feet.
Right. And they've all got their own kind of like techniques and processes. With Sue, she wants you to like kind of clench and clench.
Okay.
So when you're coming up, like bringing stuff in from the top, you're pulling your eyes up and you're kind of feeling a little bit of a strain. You don't want to hurt yourself, but there's like a clenching that's happening to your like pineal gland space.
Yeah. So I've heard of that. I've never done it.
And
so
you're
you
breathing
like roll
in.
your eyes back and look
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 up.
at your pineal gland, or is that?
I
'cause
guess
I've
that's
heard
a good
something like that. I don't know. if that's like-
visual, like what it would be
Yeah.
like to look at your pineal gland.
yeah.
That would be a cool visual. I would go with that.
Yeah, I've just heard that
I can
before.
see
Like,
that.
I have no idea. I'm just like, that reminded me when you said that. I was like, oh, I wonder if that's the same
But
kind
it
of...
does end up waking that. It shoots the fluids
Yeah.
when you're rotating that breath and that energy and where you're
Yeah.
moving that. It does tend to shoot your spinal fluid back up to your pineal and just create, the flow.
Isn't that the-
Another
so,
flow.
like, yeah, right, another
Another breath, but it's a liquid breath. You
Yeah,
got
know
liquid
what?
breath. You
Santos
got air
Bonacci,
breath.
oddly, that we're talking about that, talks about raising the chrism, okay, and the
Right.
Christ consciousness, and it's going all through your chakras and raising the oils that are in your, like in the kundalini, like they're stuck, and then they go up to the pineal gland and then kind of like burst, and
Yeah.
that is like, I don't know if that's like the
Well, you're
beginning
giving
of
them
enlightenment.
life.
Yeah.
You're giving them life because you're breathing into
Right.
them.
And that's
you
supposed
breathe
to be the-
into things.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Breathing into is also a release. You're breathing into life. You're breathing into it, but you're also letting it go.
Yeah.
Because it's coming back through.
Yeah. And letting that, like, it's almost like a transmutation. Is that the right word?
For sure.
Yeah.
And
like
I would
into
even
the, like, bad out, good in, or you can
I would
say
even
good,
take
bad,
it
but-
back to the whole I can't breathe scenario.
Yeah.
I think it's the first time people acknowledge what breathing, like it was awareness of
Yeah.
what breathing was, right?
Huh.
That's my perception.
Yeah.
That's how I'm seeing
Well-
this. So go back, but how long have we been suppressed in our breathing?
Oh God.
And this was a new experience of awakening to understand how important
Yeah.
breath is and how special it is and how
Yeah.
it's freaking life,
And do you know, like, when you were a child, I'm just thinking of this, and I know that, like, this is all these weird things that just, like, spring to mind. But when you're a child and you're running around, like, in the streets, like, we used to just run around in the streets and we had a good old time. And now it's like, oh, no, you can't do that. And I admit, like, I'm kind of bad at that, even with my kids, because I'm like, oh, my God, you're going to get hurt. Like, I could do all kinds of shit when,
They could get hurt.
They could.
But you know what they're going to
Let it
do?
go.
They're going to breathe it off.
Yeah,
Just
right.
like you have to breathe it off. How many times have we not like stubbed our toe where
Oh, my God, I know. And you hold your
and you
breath.
like, or you hold it, and you're focusing. When you're holding that breath, where does that breath go? You're like pushing
Yeah.
it down into that pain,
that's so
that
true.
stubbed toe, and you're like trying to push it out and be like, breathing life to you,
Yes.
like hello,
What's happening?
ow,
over
that
there?
fucking hurt,
Yeah.
but
And,
and then
I tell Giovanni, like, like he'll get hurt or one of the kids will get hurt, and I'll be like, okay, and they'll be holding their breath, and I'm like, okay, breathe, breathe. And do you remember, like, I don't know if you did this, but like when they were babies, they'd start crying so hard that they just kind of stop for a minute, and you'd go, Do you remember that? And they go,
yeah. Did
you used to do that?
Yeah, I
wonder,
do remember that.
Yeah, and like running around and like that breath in and out, in and out.
An
it's
exhilarating breath, though, not a stressful breath. It was like, I can see that when you're explaining that. I feel and remember, like, what did I just say? An exciting.
See, oh my God, I'm so glad I'm not the only one. I get so excited and I'm like, go off on tangents, and then I'm like, shit, what was I saying? Yeah, the excited breath. So the excited breath and being a child.
Yeah, exhilarating.
Exhilarating
breath instead of a stressful breath. You know, I feel like now our breathing is like trying to get ourselves to calm down and trying to be fast about fast-paced moving, and you know, just I don't know, just to up here again.
Yeah, I wonder if that would help with cases with PTSD, because they do breathing techniques.
I did read that, and I don't know the name of it, but the technique for that, and it's like anxiety, PTSD and anxiety. So what you do is, and he just read this like a day ago.
Perfect.
Because my husband, we're doing a lot of breathing techniques right now with him. He's been struggling with some heart palpitation issues, and so we're just trying to remember what, you know, what healing breath has. So what you do is you take 4 breaths in, you hold it. So, okay, not
is
4.
It the count of 4?
Count of 4. Okay. My apologies.
I'm like doing this.
Okay, big breath.
I'm all into it.
I'm going to tune into this. I'll do it with you. Okay. 4. I'm going to the count of 4. We're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold 1, 2, 3, 4. Let go 2, 3, 4.
And when you let
hold,
out,
2, 3, 4.
Like dragon breath kind of thing, or do you just? Doesn't matter.
I say kind of to each his own until you start feeling what that means to you. Are you trying to create fire? Right. Are you trying to release pressure and keep things calm and cool? Because that dragon breath, what does that say? Hot, right?
Yeah,
Fire.
And when you're
That's
cool,
how I see it.
I totally get what you're saying.
What are you? Yeah. Are you cooling down? Or are you trying to warm up? And I got a cool, fun example that you and I had with that. So remember dragon breath, warming up, and we'll come to that. So the breathing technique, just whatever you want to go with, but we're going to nice
in for 4.
Slow for ready. Okay. Well, 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold 2, 3, 4. Out 2, 3, 4. Hold 2, 3, 4. In 2, 3, 4. Hold 2, 3, 4. Out 2, 3, 4. You know, you do that for like 3 minutes.
Yeah, that's amazing.
That's one good anxiety one. And another one is like really clenching more harder. Like, don't strain yourselves, but it's more of like a solar plexus hold where you're just like hold when you breathe like in and breathe. Yeah, through the diaphragm, you kind of clench down a little.
Okay.
And then release, you know, and you can do that
and then
with that breath or
like
what we just did.
Sometimes when I do meditations, I'll breathe in and then tense up. And then when I breathe out, I let go. You know, and that's helpful too, because it like almost like, you know, it's like cracking your back, you know.
Releasing pressure, holding on to it, squeezing it tight, and then you're letting it go.
For sure.
So dragon breath, because now, on a flow. Again, key is that, what did we used to do? Special word of the day is flow. Because, I mean, we've said it so many times. Like, what's Nickelodeon? Pee Wee Herman.
Oh my God, that was a long time ago. And then he got like started flashing people.
Poor Pee Wee. I don't want to remember that part about Pee Wee.
Well, I didn't really see it, so
Me either.
Whatever.
Oh God, that's funny. So dragon breath. All right, so Jamie and I have been very lucky to be introduced to some really special people or become friends with people and just get word of mouth and connection. And we've been doing, like, it's called thermogenesis. And it's not exactly to the T of general thermogenesis, but it's Wayne Hoff. Yeah, thermogenesis. And we've been going to the rivers in the morning. I've only done this twice.
We're in Colorado. And so it's like there's ice and snow.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's just icy water.
It's great. I only did it once, but I am so excited to keep going and go back. And I want to talk to Michelle and Teresa about some of that stuff too.
Yeah, that's going to say it. So that's to come. That's going to be another fun episode.
I would love to hear about your experience because you do you get your breath and you're out in the cold and that's even better like that. You can feel that go into your lungs. And so tell me about how you felt when you...
Well, I remember just having the experience with you, you know, because you really had to work yourself up to even get into that water. And I'm like,
Yeah.
I can do this.
Yeah.
And I knew it was going to be cold, but I have a breathing, like, natural, like, absorption thing that I work through, and mind over matter.
Yeah.
That's just me.
Yeah.
But when you were coming out, I was like, and her body, you know, your body does tense. You have to work on making sure you don't tense up too much and clench your muscles because it is cold.
Yeah.
And
you're shivering.
but Jamie and I were breathing together, and I was like, let's breathe together. Let's do dragon breath. Let's warm up our bellies.
Yeah.
You know, our, what do you call that energy right there? Like your fire, your harness, your fireplace.
Yeah, it's like the hearth.
The hearth
kinda,
or something.
But, you know, some people say the heart is the hearth, but
Yeah.
I mean, I could see that coming from the solar plexus for sure.
Yeah. So just there's so much
Lower
warmth
chakras.
you can
Lower
you can build down here to start bringing up to yourself with your breathing, and you really do need to do that deep breathing, and then the you know, really warm.
Definitely.
And
I don't think I would have been able to do the cooling breath. We were just
No.
like the relaxing.
Yeah,
I mean,
you
I
needed
had to like
heat.
push that
Yeah.
out, man.
Right.
Yeah.
And we were practicing pulling the energy up from the ground
Yeah.
as heat, like rooting ourselves back down into it and trying to create heat.
And
like,
digging our feet into the mud underneath of us. Like that was like, it was almost like warming up your feet. Because it was my feet that I was like, oh, they felt like they were gonna fall off.
They were ice blocks.
I
There
was
was
like,
no
oh God. But then when you dug them kind of into the earth, which I know seems crazy because it's like it should be colder.
Yeah.
But it almost like just a little bit of that layer of
insulation.
the earth, you know, just like, oh, thank you.
Yeah.
And after a while, what happens? Like after about 5 minutes, and
You're
I know,
numb.
I got warm.
And bliss. Yeah, you're
I
just
got warm.
comfortable.
And I told so many people that, and they
But you're
just
numb.
like laugh at me because
Yeah.
they're like, "Well, yeah, that's like you're going to hypothermia," and I'm like, "Well, yeah, but I mean, we're fine."
Right, we're here. We're not doing this alone. We're with
you don't
people.
go in. You don't like jump into like the deep water because I think when you first walk in there, the breath. I did anyways. I know a lot of people don't because they're like.
Oh, well,
pros at
my
this.
silly
I
daughter.
hyperventilated at first.
Yeah,
I was
and I'm like, breathe, Jamie. Yeah, she's just like, it's cold, it's cold.
I'm used to hot tubs. Okay, hot tubs.
It's cold, it's cold, it's cold. And I'm like, no, come on.
Right.
And big, like, flare your nostrils, suck them
Yes.
in because you're breathing in, you know, heat, and you're
It felt
pushing it
better.
out.
Like when you focus on that breath, it takes your mind from the feet. You know what I mean? And the
And every
issues
other
that I was
numbing
having.
limb.
Yeah. It was the feet, man. You did like, oh. I'm like that during the summertime though. Like if I'm really hot, if I stick my feet, like I could be sweating everywhere, but if I stick my feet in just a pan of cold water, I'm good.
Right.
And same thing when it starts to get cold, if I stick my feet in warm
something
water,
warm.
the rest of my body's warm.
Right.
Like, so I have an
Your
issue
feet
with
or your
my feet.
thermometer.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like, for me. I mean, I don't know about everybody else,
Right.
but I was like, oh God.
Breathe from the feet, Jamie. Breathe from the feet.
Yeah, right? Maybe that's a good one. You should remind me of that the next time that we do this,
Yeah.
which hopefully will be this week. But
Yeah, that'd be good.
yeah.
I'm contemplating tomorrow.
Oh man. You let me know.
Okay.
You let me know. And then maybe I'll like record some. That'd be fun.
How everybody else breathes.
Yeah. Oh, my
Like, how's
People
your
will be
breathing
like,
right now?
You know
while
what?
you're in
They're all
that cold
pros
water?
up there. Like, I swear, every time that I go there, I'm like, I am the newbie. I don't know what the hell I'm doing. I'm just here. And
I'm just
but
following
water's
you
my
in.
thing. Like, water's
Yeah.
my thing. So I'm like, okay. I mean, and so, yeah, I mean, we'll get into that stuff later too.
Okay,
Like,
fun.
Yeah, but the breath, going back
Breath.
to the breath. Yes.
Conscious breathing.
Conscious breathing.
Yeah,
So
what can we say about conscious breathing?
I think that's kind of another one of those things that like it takes your mind, and especially when you're so many people ask me like, well, how do you start to meditate? You know, I can't get my mind off of things, and I get it. Like, I still do that, and I meditate almost every single day. I used to meditate 2-3 hours a day.
Yeah.
And so you get kind of to that point where you get a little bit better at it, and then you can get right in there. But there are times still that my mind, you know, it's the monkey mind, and you can't stop thinking about something, and you want to like, oh wait, let me just a second, let me check my phone, you know, and all this crap. But I think that breath, if you breathe and you're focusing on that breath, that takes my mind from the monkey thoughts.
Right. Well, you could even that technique we just did. You can
Yeah.
do that for 3 minutes
gonna have to try
before
that.
your meditation.
Right.
And just breathe oxygen into a calm brain and a calm space. And
Yeah.
pump blood to everything that needs to flow for your creativity.
Yes,
right?
that's wonderful.
I mean, your heart gets some fluid,
Yeah.
breath,
It
your
makes
lung.
everything
yeah.
flow.
It just
All the blood flow.
It just flows.
And this is the other thing too with breath, is that when you're angry, you get really, like it's in your breath. And when your heart rate goes up, like fight or flight, it's your breath. And you've got to slow that breath down.
Yeah.
It like our entire, and of course, I mean, duh, we're breathing. We have to breathe every day. But I mean, like,
how are you choosing to
and
breathe?
conscious breathing.
Are you aware of your breathing that makes you, are you conscious, right? Awareness and conscious, they're the same thing.
Yes.
So are you aware?
Yeah, like putting your consciousness into that breath instead of, on whatever's going on, and being able to connect with source energy. Like that's pretty damn important, I would say, and not just because, we have to breathe to survive, obviously, but it's the way that we breathe.
Yeah.
And you think about that too, like what happens when somebody comes up to you and they're just like in a panic. It's their breath. You've got to tell them to slow your breath down, just take a deep breath,
and you got to get your thoughts together. Your thoughts are racing just as much as your breathing's racing, probably.
Yeah, and I wonder if that, I
right?
mean, that's got to be connected in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah. It's heart. I mean, breath is life, right? Your heart's pounding, or it's calm. Your brain's going, or it's not. It's just like this brain-heart coherence with your breath. And when your breath can send signals and make it flow through the system, I mean, that's how I see it.
And what you think about,
and that feels that way
like
to me.
that shallow breathing is not helping you manifest
it's breaking up
anything.
your thoughts.
Yeah. So when we're focused on, or be awareness, we're aware of our breath, I think that would lead into, I mean, this is just like my thinking right now, lead into being able to manifest the things that we want in life. And let's manifest this bullshit to be out of here. Like, can we just skip?
Take responsibility for your breathing. There was a really cool quote about that too. Oh man, what was that one?
Dig through it, man.
Pleasure life. Oh man, did I just read it and just pass it?
Probably, because we're a little stoned at the same time. So I mean that happens. But
oh man, what were we talking about?
We'll find the consciousness, like awareness and breath. Oh my God, I do that all the time.
Maybe I should just read
awareness.
these.
Yes, please.
Let's
do that.
Let's go down the list. I got a couple here. So I already did the Giovanni Panani.
Yeah.
Papini.
Panani. I love it. See, there's that laughter. Come on now.
Breathe it in. You're laughing. You can't. Yeah, you got to take breaths when you breathe.
Oh man, so funny.
That's good. Okay, when the breath is unsteady, all is unsteady. When the breath is still, all is still. Control the breath carefully. Inhalation gives strength and a controlled body. Retention gives steadiness of mind and longevity. Exhalation purifies body and spirit.
Yeah, that's wonderful.
Isn't it beautiful?
I like that part.
Yeah.
Exhalation. Read that one part. Read that last part again.
Exhalation purifies body and spirit.
I love that.
Yeah.
Because it's that transmutation.
Right. And, and that's what I spoke into when we, took our first couple of puffs. It was like breathe in all that, that's good for you. Breathe in.
Every time you're talking about breathing in, I always have to take a deep breath. Like my body's like, yes, please. It's like exactly when I need to breathe in.
I like
intuition,
breath.
You guys. It's that intuition.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Yeah. So sorry, we got cut off because my camera cuts off after 30 minutes, but we knew that, and I swear that I just looked and it was. So let's go back to, we were talking about how you got all excited about the breath, because when I put my hands on the ground during that ceremony, when we were in the sweat lodge.
Right. And the breathing in,
yes,
and how you had to find
what you really got me with was the when you said, because that was exactly it. I was like, I couldn't find the words for it, but when I was breathing out, it was like hot water.
Steam.
I was like, steam. I was breathing out steam and getting my hands into the earth and getting as close as I could, man. I mean, I was dying for that. I was like, please just save me. I was like talking to Gaia, you know, and I had my hands, I was like, please give me life. Like, I'm going to die in here. and so really I got down as low. I'm not kidding.
Yeah.
I'm not kidding, y'all. I really thought I was going to die.
Yeah.
So I got as close as I could to the earth, and I was breathing into the earth because she's cooling, you know, and she was like helping me. She was helping me out.
Mama, help me. Help me,
Mama, help me. So I can't get out. I'm steaming out. I was going to die. I'm not kidding. So, oh my God. Now I've totally lost track of what
breathing.
I was. Yeah, no, I know
Dirt.
that, but I'm like, oh,
Mother.
Before this got all messed. Oh, yes. Okay, so going back. See, this is what happens when we get stoned. Going back to what's happening right now on the planet, right? So, like, all of the crappy things that are happening, I kind of think, like, I get excited because I feel like people are waking up everywhere. And they're starting to really figure out this system that we had in place that's crashing, that's falling.
Yeah.
And getting into, I mean, even like there were some good things that happened along the way.
Right.
Like, you know, it sucks that we were all locked up. We were all locked up.
Yeah.
In kind of in prison, but it was almost good that like we had to go within and we had to learn to breathe, and then it being covered, and then kind of, and then afterwards, like more and more people I see are starting to stand up and be like, no, I'm not doing this. You know, I have to breathe.
Well, okay,
and
breathing is a natural organization of being a human, right?
Yes.
A life.
Yes.
Plants, right?
Yeah.
And then you, like you said, we have organizations that are falling, like man-made ones. But breath is our God-given flipping right.
Yeah.
That is, we were given that. That is our frickin' gift. That is one of our biggest keys we have.
Connection to God Himself, or itself, or herself.
All of self.
Yes.
You know, just, it's that though, you know, let these things collapse because they're not meant to be here, but our breath.
Absolutely.
You can't have my breath. That's mine.
Yeah.
That's mine.
See, that's the
Go
type
fuck
of
yourself.
shit that I just, that's the type of shit right there that I get so excited, and more people are starting to do that.
Yeah.
And I adore that.
I want to breathe out love and release, you know, and yeah, I'm not, you know, perfect. I mean, that's not.
None of us are. None of us are.
I yell and get short breathed.
Oh, man.
You know, I smoke and I get short breath.
Yeah, well,
but it reminds me of how I need to breathe. If I'm just aware, I'm like, oh.
That comes, it's like that attachment, because I quit, a year ago. It was about a year ago that I quit completely. Only because I was smoking CBD cigarettes, by the way.
Yeah.
But it's like the attack or the attachment to breath, but that was like, it kind of helps you calm down.
Being
almost.
a smoker of any kind,
right,
reminds you to breathe,
to
stop and slow down and take a breath. So when you're,
yes, whether
that's
it's
nice,
negative or positive,
yeah,
but
it still taught you.
I stopped for so long, and then I started again because I got stressed out.
Yeah.
And it was like, maybe I'm not sure,
You have to
but
learn
maybe I was like shallow breathing, and I panicked. So what I needed was to grab on to breath, and although that was the negative way of doing that, I needed to. Yeah. I needed a break. I needed to breathe.
And I quit smoking for 6-7 years.
Yeah.
And I went back to smoking, and
But you roll your
own. I do roll my own whole organic tobacco.
Yeah.
Full organic tobacco. I do roll my own. But still, anywho, there's back to how we started this with ceremony. You know, there's just, it's also a plant, and it deserves respect. And I just don't need it to get my socks off, you know, or to crave the hunger of the beast, you know. There should be pleasure. I think it's pleasurable.
I think so too.
You know, but if it's really is making you feel shitty and it's really not serving you, you know, you need to find another way to connect with your breath. For sure. You know, but the ceremony, and I was really blessed by Michelle that teaching me how to reminding me about tobacco and it being a spirit. You know, you kind of lost connection because it was just something you did, and you lost where it's coming from.
Just
And
like
that's what we
cannabis.
want to do with cannabis.
Yeah.
It's like we're not trying to sit here and just be a bunch of freaking stoners.
Yeah.
There is a respect and an honor, and we are coming together to create something, and we brought this plant to join us in that.
It helps
you
me
know,
to get back to that childhood phase too, and the connection.
and be giggly and
Yeah.
be silly and kind of be like, oh, duh.
Yeah, duh. Remind yourself
duh.
to laugh and
A duh.
breathe
Yeah.
and go with the flow. Like
Yeah, go with the flow. Duh.
Duh. My goodness. Well, Flo, we should probably
All right.
stop this at this point in time, but I would love to have you back again. And maybe we can do, and then maybe we could do some more stuff with breath and
Right. Yeah, this
some
can
more
go
stuff with
forever,
Michelle
huh?
and
Thanks for
Teresa.
cutting me off, because this can go forever.
Oh my God, I know. And believe me, I would love to, but my computer can't handle it.
Yeah.
Like
Well-
if my computer, I'm going to work on that. I promise. I'm going to work on it. But my computer, for some reason, like wants to tell me to F
Yeah.
off.
It could be a
When I
fun
edit.
episodes every now and then.
Yeah, for
But-
sure. So I appreciate you, my loving, sweet cousin. And we'll have you back
Babes.
on.
Thanks.
I love you.
Thanks for having me.
Yes, thank you.
That was fun.
Welcome to your Ascension Creator. We'll see you on the next one.